Can everybody hear me? Yes, I can see my little bars going. Unscheduled pit stop. That fooled everybody. Howdy folks, I'm back. Just doing a little test, just to make sure everything's back up and as normal. I did go live earlier, but I was cut off in my prime, which is a bit of a shame. But we'll see who's still about. I've got an hour before Connie starts her live stream. So I thought, well, I'll have another go. Why not? Trains are still running in a serene fashion. So why shouldn't I? I don't think anybody's cottoned on yet, but it's early days. The 10,000 is running nicely in the background. I'll just pop in there. Oh, there's Lyndon. Hello, Lyndon. Nice to see you. Part 2. Yeah, I'm back again. I got chopped off in my prime as I was doing my live stream. I got towards the end and the picture just froze. Couldn't do anything with the keyboard. So it just appeared that it was a computer problem. It's as though it was doing an upgrade, and all of a sudden I couldn't see the mouse on the screen. I couldn't see nothing, couldn't do anything. I could see the camera was still operating, but it just, everything froze, and it just surprised me. It was a complete surprise. Never had that happen before. I knew obviously before when I had troubles with the microphone, that was obviously something nasty in the works, but that sorted itself out. But I don't know what caused the PC to freeze. I really don't. But what have we got running? I've got the old DP2 running yet again. Hello, Connie. Lovely to see you. Which will be coming behind me this way. Yay. That's that one. Pulling some maroon coaches as befitting the green shades that the locomotive has. And on the other side is the W1 in its streamlined form with some silver coaches and the support coach of the A1, which is right here in its photographic grey colour, which I was running earlier. But missed the first one, been editing and uploading the Black 5 tour I filmed this morning. What do you think of the new Hornby Black 5, Lyndon? Sam doesn't think his was very good at all. So I'd be interested what your take is on it. And Lyndon, if you don't know, Connie, who's Dragon Lover 68, does a live stream on a Sunday, which will not something you looked into. Okay, well, I'm still considering it, but we'll see. Connie does a live stream at 5 o'clock our time. What Connie has on her channel is various modelers with overhead views, so you can actually see what they're modeling and painting and building. Derail Daryl. Hello, Daryl. Nice to see you. I decided to come on again because I got chopped off in my prime by an errant PC, which seemed to just freeze. Everything just froze. I couldn't do anything with the mouse, nothing. It seemed to be one of those kind of occasions where it decides to do an upgrade, and it's using so much of the CPU that nothing else works. And it just happened to do that while I was ending my live stream. Is Connie DRG? Yes, indeed. Yeah. Connie does her live stream at 5, so I can run any time up to there. I wouldn't cross over onto Connie's stream. Connie does a great stream with lots of very talented modelers, painters, and builders on there. So it's well worth a look in. So yeah. So I just thought I'd relax, a cup of coffee with the Cockerel mug. Yeah. Oh no, part 2 then. Yes, it's part 2. Yeah. GWR Buckley Junction. Hi, Sean. Nice to see you, man. So I just thought I'd do another live stream just to make sure my PC is up to whack and it doesn't peter out again. I hope everybody can hear me okay. My little sound bars at the bottom seem to be working okay. The PC seems to be up to speed, and I don't want to go a whole week without at least trying it again, just to make sure that everything's okay, because I don't want to get to next Sunday and then all of a sudden I get chopped off again. So, okay, thanks, Lyndon. Yes, Hornby bought out a new Black 5, which is supposed to be their state-of-the-art, better than anything they've done before. And I looked at it. I didn't like the paint job they'd done on it first. How long am I on for? I don't know, Sean. Just to do a test, I want to at least go about half an hour. Then everybody can get a cup of tea, cup of coffee, something to eat before Connie's live comes on, which I'll be watching a bit later. I'll be back in 10 then. Okay, Sean. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm just relaxing now. I'm laid back. Laid back. So the trains are running serenely in the background. Oops, we get the last 5 minutes. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, Matt. I'm sorry that it got the chop. It was out of my control. The PC just decided to do a funny. It done a moody on me, and everything just froze. So I did a one-finger reset. By the time I come back, the audience had evaporated, and it left me scratching my head trying to pick up the pieces. Anyway, it's great to have Derailed Daryl in. I remember you said you were going to try and make a live stream. This is a happy coincidence. Oh, RGJ Trains. Hi there. Sorry I missed earlier, taking advantage of no rain to concrete. Oh, that sounds a bit ominous. Where concrete's concerned, what are you burying? No, I know what you mean. It's been so wet in this godforsaken country that when the rain isn't there, the wind's there, and when the wind's there, the rain's also there. And anyway, it's great to see you, Daryl. This is the extent of my 8 foot by 12 foot that I've got at the bottom of my garden. I'll give you a quick tour. I hope moving the camera up won't do anything dodgy. And we start off by the door. Limited clearance. Yeah, right. So you've got various tools and bits and pieces up there. I've got some blinds so the outside light doesn't interfere with the inside light, which is like a light bar up there. Union Pacific, we like a bit of that. And as we go round, Southern Pacific lines. Stop, sound horn before entering. Various railway signs and paraphernalia. The clock says 20 past 4. Cornish Riviera Express. Yeah, I'm afraid the light's affecting that one. Here's a couple of reproduction locomotives. nameplates, Tullyar, which come off of a Deltic, and up a bit further, there's a real section of rail there that weighs a ton. It's only about an inch thick, but boy, oh boy, yeah. Some English Electric bits and pieces that my son's recovered from various sites because he works on the railway. How about an engineering supervisor armband? And then you've got a little bit further around English China clay, which came off the class 37. Again, that's a reproduction made out of fiberglass. And these are the indicators you have on signals telling you what the signal is and what the location is. And looking down, that's over at the station area, which is all Bachmann Scencraft. That's what I was running a little bit earlier on, which is Quicksilver. That's an A4. This little beauty here, which is in photographic grey, that's Tornado. That's the new one the new locomotive they made from scratch. And for a time, it was in photographic grey, which they used to use in the old days when you only had black and white film to make the best of what they could do with a black and white photograph. But when it comes out of the factory, very often they put it into photographic grey, and it was the www.a1steam.com. These were a limited edition of 506 models made by Bachmann for the Bachmann Collectors Club. And I sent that information to Charlie. Here's my little point levers and bits and pieces like that. Over there is a little fueling area, and the Network Rail boys are still busy away over there. Moving around to the other side of the layout, you've got various signals. I mean, you'll see this one change. If I keep it here, keep your eye on that signal and it will change. Daryl. Here comes the W1 in streamlined livery. So you've got a green light, goes red, train passes, and then it will go yellow, double yellow, back to green. There we go. Right. Oh, so there's a quick tour for you, Daryl. Very nice pad when she is mad. Yeah. Yes, that's somewhere to come, just in case the wrath of Mrs. Hot Dog descends upon me. Oh, we've got Colin in. Hello, Colin. Sorry, Colin. One day it will just click. Yeah. Woodthorpe International is Colin. Colin did a marvellous job of a trestle bridge, which is in Engage, but it's a huge, huge thing and took a lot of doing. Donegal Dad Mark. Hello, Mark. Nice to see you. Yeah, another impromptu live stream just so I can get the feel back and make sure everything's correct with the computer, because I don't want to get to a situation where I get in next week and nothing's working and all of a sudden it bombs me out. What's the size of my train shed? 12 foot long by 8 foot wide is the external size. So you lose about 4 inches in that lengthwise and widthwise, because obviously you've got 2x2s which are supporting everything. So that's it. Most of it is ballasted, and I work on it ad hoc when I've got time, or I think this could be improved, or I need a few more trees here, a bit more scenery. The backdrop, which is trees, I see over that side, which is the countryside. And I did that because I have lots of locomotives with smoke, and the dark background helps the smoke show up more. Because if you have a light background, you just don't see it. No problems, Daryl. It's nice to see you in the stream. Really is. I'm quite honoured, actually. For those of you that don't know Daryl, American with an American flavoured layout, fantastic layout Daryl's got, and it's great to watch. Anyone else freezing there? I hope not. I'm hoping that's just you, RGJ, but if there's any troubles, just let me know in the stream. Mystic John. Hello, Mystic John. Well, this time of the day is more my style. Yeah, sorry about that, John, but in trying to please everyone, somebody else obviously gets their toes stepped upon. It's difficult to find time that everybody likes, and it fell into 1 o'clock, mostly because of Robert's train sets, because Robert gave me a big shout out when I started, and I am grateful. So when he said, can you go a little bit earlier, because I was in later in the afternoon, I said yes. So I fixed on 1 o'clock, and it seemed to be okay with most of the UK guys and gals, but there's a 5-hour difference between us and Eastern Standard Time, or whatever it is at the moment. Kyle Stevens, hello Kyle. So it's difficult for our American and Canadian cousins to get in because it's early in the morning for those, but it's a little later in the morning now, some 3 hours later. So yeah, perhaps this is a bit more like it. Perhaps I should go 4 till 5, but it's difficult to please everybody. Sometimes you end up pleasing nobody, but you can but try. Forgive me a second. Sorry, I just wanted to wipe my nose, but I didn't want to do that on screen. Oh, very unethical. Yeah, it's tough on live streams trying to please. It is. But I am trying. Let's speed up our W1. That's a bit more like this kind of speed that something like an A4 would do. There is a little bit of a hum to that motor. One thing I did earlier on, sorry, I'm separating ballast with the smaller stuff. The tweezers are out, so I might miss some comments. I understand that. What was I running earlier on? I can't actually see what I was running earlier on. What have I done with that? Oh, I put it behind you. I'll just show you this. I'll have to stop the trains for a moment. Richard arrives. Yeah, I know, I'm just doing an ad hoc because I got chopped in my live stream. I'll just show you this. This is a photographic grey spam can. What I didn't realise earlier on was that this model has got a DCC chip in it, which I didn't know. And I thought it was behaving a little odd when it was running under DC power. So I inadvertently flicked it onto DCC and there was silence. And usually when a DC model, you put DCC through it, it rattles and shakes and makes horrible noises. But this one didn't. So yes, it's got a DCC chip in it. Yeah, right. Oh, we're back. Is that the computer which was frozen earlier? Yes, it was the closet branch. It's behind you. Oh, no, it isn't. Yeah, so I thought I'd do another live stream just to, see if everything was pucker, as they say. So let's get things moving again. So I'm running some very unprototypical trains, which Richard just came to the door, took one look, and went, oh, yeah. So even with the stock, you can't please everyone, because Richard does very prototypical trains. I wouldn't say he's a rivet counter, but maybe a little OCD, like his old man. John number 7, to be exact. Yeah, how did you come by the number 7, John? Or did you just happen to be in a live stream with 7 other Johns? Don't know about that one. Anyway, as you can see, it seems to be running. Everything seems to be running okay. On the other track, I am running what's known as the DP2, which is it's a very Deltic looking engine, but it had a Class 50 prime mover in it, and that's coming around this way about now. There. So it looks like a Deltic, but it sounds like a Class 50. Mav, maybe it's just not used to non-US railroad stock. It does feel strange. Yeah. Afternoon, Chris. Again. I assigned myself that number to leave plenty of space ahead of me for those Johns that came before. Interesting. Monsville, hello. Nice to see you. This is probably a bit more like the time that, yeah, it's morning for you. Probably very morning. Yeah, we had to number them like you would with cattle. Now we know who's who. Yeah, very good. So what I can do, no, I can't really, can I? Yeah, because I've switched everything around. 1:23 a.m. here. Yes, I know that feeling. But thanks for coming in. You're always welcome. So, yeah, I'll run a few trains and keep things going for a while just to make sure everything is tickety-boo. Tom Houston, hello. Just got in from stacking firewood. Yes, well, it's I've got a little heater going down here just to keep things warm while I've got the door open, because it's not hot. We're talking 60 degrees or less, which is a little uncomfortable for somebody that's hasn't got a lot of pounds on. No, Lyndon, there was one around in South Wales. What was there? Did you go out with the steamer? Yes, I know that. What's the place in Somerset? Severn Valley Railway. I think they've had some kind of event on. So, yeah. I haven't seen any video from that yet, but I'll be looking into that a little bit later on. Same as me, still out. The heater still has to be on average about 11 in the shed. Yeah, it's not hot by any stretch of the imagination. So it's just a matter of try and make yourself as comfortable as possible. But if you're actually going to be working on a layout in this kind of cold, it will get to you eventually, and you'll have to stop, grab a cup of coffee, go and warm yourself up, and then get back to it. I mean, I had a basin of that just doing this one. If you're building your layout in the summer, then you've got to be careful how you gap the track. If you're building it in winter, the gap you put in will close up by the time it's summer. So we've all been there. Otherwise, when the summer comes around, you'll have buckled track, and that's always a feature. at the height of summer when it gets to 100 degrees and people are starting to get buckled track. I suppose because I've used Woodland Scenics foam underlay, and I used a latex glue called Copydex to fix that down, and I used it for the ballast, then I can do something like this with my track. You watch that carefully. I can bend that down so it's ultimately flexible. And that was the reason I used that, trying to keep everything flexible. So not only does it keep the sound on the boards down to a minimum and the shock of going across rail joints, it also flexes when it gets hot or cold. Okay, folks, I had to leave, but got some chores to do around the house. Thanks, Carl, for coming in. Papa John Trains, hello, nice to see you. So yeah, I'm just running a little later than advertised. I did get my hour stint today, just about, but yeah, nice to see some trains running. Yeah, this one's about as prototypical as I'm running, because obviously you got British Railways green, which was 1950s colours, and invariably they had two different coloured coaches in those days, or three or four actually, but it was maroon or blood and custard, we called it, which is like a red and yellow. But there you go. Papa John, King of the Caboose. How do, sir? Ah, Caboose fan, huh? Yeah. I'll have to remember, and he used it to lay track, and Cork was going to use PVA for the ballast. But if I use PVA for the ballast, everything becomes really hard. And Jake, what happened, Andy? What happened when? What happened? Anyway, Matt, yeah, if you use PVA, then everything becomes hard with the part two. Oh, okay. As you know, I was cut off in my prime, so I wanted to do another little live stream just to make sure the computer's behaving itself, the internet is okay. So I'm just doing another little wrap up, if you like. So, I mean, it's now come to about 4:30. Everything seems to be okay. So, yeah, I used. This is a small bottle of the stuff I used. It's a latex glue that we have in England and the UK called Copydex, and it's used a lot in. There's a notification just come up. It's used a lot in fabrics, for gluing fabrics together and things like that. How do you like the Southern model? Yeah, I love it. I love it, John. It came up on eBay as 40 for parts and bits and pieces like that. Did I see Go Fish Office somewhere in the chat? Perhaps that was just a mention. But yeah, so I use the latex glue to do all of the track and all of the ballast, and it took a bit of doing. It took a long time, but I was happy with the results. So that's what I used. That's what I realised now. I have to use Copydex for the ballast. Yeah, I did it with a syringe. I syringed it out and then just went in between each individual sleeper, which took a long time, filled it up, and then I just put it all on, a big mountain of ballast over the top. I used a micro hoover once it was all dried, just to get everything into a bag, back into the ballast pot. And it seemed to do the trick. And I was quite pleased with the results, so I stuck with it. The Tornado looks cool. Yeah, shall I run it? I'll bring it around and then I'll swap it on, and then you can see it run. Bit of speed. And back down again. And I'll stop it just there. Right, forgive me a second. I'm going to have to turn my back just to disconnect. Right, here we go. Photo bombs by the train. Oh, come on. That's better. There we go. Right, I'll take this one off. Let me come over here. Yeah, I'm still supple in my 60s. Right, that one's back on. I'll wait until the train comes past and I'll pop this one on. This is a beauty. Richard certainly knew what he was doing when he got this one. Yes, it's a Bachmann. Yes, it was probably quite expensive. But what a model. And there's only 506 of them around. It was a Bachmann Collectors Club special. So let's get it running. Uh-oh. I just saw that. One of the tender wheels. That's it. We're good. We're up to speed. Okay, you'll see that coming around in a second. Had it once since, but working too, so maybe I haven't seen the other CODs. Yeah, all right. Okay. Bachmann's worth the money at times. Yes, it is when they come out with something like this. Photographic grey, here she comes. And it just glides along. I mean, obviously they had the Tornado out, as did Hornby. Is there much between the two of them? Bachmann did a better job with the pony truck, which is under the cab, than Hornby did. So, yeah, I think it was worth the money. I mean, I like the Bachmann models, so I tend to go for them because very, very few of them I've ever had to send back because of problems. They seem to work out of the box. Perhaps that's worth the extra money then. And there's Tony, Chilverton Junction. Hello, Tony. COD, Circle of Death. I have seen two since I joined, but I'm working at the same time, so listening more than watching. Oh, okay. Could be me, but Richard was out doing a driving lesson, so he's come back now. If Richard goes online and starts doing gaming or something like that, then there's a good chance that the bandwidth gets eaten up. So probably Richard came up to see if I was actually streaming or not, which I am. Stream's working fine. Okay, super. Thanks, Tim. I've had a few here too, Andy, just for your info, buddy. Okay, thanks for that. Yeah, Sunday's a busy day for everybody. Lots of people using bandwidth and stuff. I notice the audio is crackling a bit. Now, okay, let me take a look at that. Maybe it's gone down a little. Yes, it has. There's an auto adjust on this, so I've just turned it back up. Am I any clearer now? How's that? You may want to close your OnlyFans tab. Oh. Thanks, John. OnlyFans, yeah. That's a funny thing. Well, to tell you the truth, John, I've never heard of it before you mentioned it. And yeah, that opened up a whole new avenue of to me. So, yeah, it took a little while to realise what OnlyFans was. But yeah, I got it. Been fine here in Southern California, loud and clear. Uh, it's amazing what we have in our heads about what places like Southern California is. You've got Lynn McCurdy, who's like in the roof of the high desert, again in California, and it looks like the grass is greener and it looks like a paradise, and it possibly is. Andy, I'm disappointed. I thought you were a subscriber to Rob and Brian's channel. What's that? OnlyFans. Yeah. Yeah, skimpy wear. Nah, it's not my thing. Derail Daryl, I have now subscribed. Yes. Daryl stuff's first class. Anybody can see that. I mean, as soon as you see what's there, you think, "Wow, yeah, this is really good." But I was watching Lynn McCurdy do an explanation of his layout on a live stream yesterday, and that was really good. And what Lynn runs is a bit more old time. He runs shays and 280s and things like that. And yeah, really good stuff that I'm quite into. So I tend to go ever so slightly towards the old time stuff. 440s, 260s, 460s, and that kind of jazz. Andy, yeah, but you keep getting those things buzzing around your head, trying to swat them away. What do you call them? Yeah, bullets. Yeah, yeah. We've all got ideas of things we like to try, and for me, one of my earliest memories is watching the Cannonball Express coming straight at me on the TV show Casey Jones, and that just sold me. And if you're 3 years old and you can still remember it to this day, yeah, 57 years back, and you think, wow, that had quite an impression on me. And yeah, I picked it up and ran with it. Monsville, mostly Triang Steam, yeah. So you probably know the Davy Crockett, which I didn't know existed at the time. It's only much, much later that I realised that Triang had a Davy Crockett, which is a 260, a Mogul. Or is it a 460? I can't remember which. It's a 260, so I can see the box down here. Let me just pull it out. This one sort of came in a sort of reproduction box that somebody knocked together. I'll show you what it looks like. Right. Okay. Let's pull it out. Right. Here's the engine part of it, which looks like this. And yeah, 260. I got my thumb on that, so it can't move. Yeah, a classic big balloon smokestack, headlight, cowcatcher, pilot, 260, pretty basic model. And this did have a smoke unit in it, but it's supposed to have a little tiny tube because it's a Suze smoke unit in this particular one. Casey Jones actor is also the skipper on Gilligan's Isle. Yes, he was, yeah. Alan Hale Jr. And he had this sort of a Popeye type smile. And there was Wally and, Casey Jr. and Red Rock. Yeah, it was just a great show. It was a Western. But I mean, I loved it because it had plenty of trains in it, and the trains looked nothing like anything that we had. And so I got the idea in my head that this is what a steam engine should look like. Once you get that impression, it does tend to stay with you. So much later in life, I picked it up and run with it really. So yeah, I like the very old Wild West type American locomotives and rolling stock. Now the weather's getting better, you're planning on working on anything, Andy? There's always something to work on. I've got a little bit of fencing to fix over there on the layout, and I'm thinking of doing something with this, but I don't know whether to actually put in a board, build something on it with its own backdrop that I can then take off. So yeah, I showed that show to my grandson. His name's Casey. How about that? Yeah. Yeah, well, the show is on YouTube. I would imagine it's free to air by now because it was 1957 that they made it. I think it was first shown 58. And I don't know if it was syndicated over here to run that early. But lots of us didn't have TVs. We had a black and white TV, and I watched it in black and white. It was only when we got a colour TV I realised that it was filmed in black and white. But what the hell? Yeah, great show, great content. I think they only did 1 or maybe 2 seasons of it, and then somebody pulled the plug. But I thought it was great, particularly when he put it into reverse with the Johnson bar and then spun the us backwards. Absolutely blew my mind. Yeah, and obviously Casey Jones was an American engineer who very famously died, stayed at the throttle, made sure the brakes was on, hitting the whistle as hard as he could, and he was the only one that died in the crash he had. And Petticoat Junction, yeah, it's the same locomotive. It's Sierra number 3, which still exists, and it's been in more films than any other locomotive. Why nobody makes one, Bachmann Spectrum or Athens or Scale Trains, Rapido? Somebody should make a Sierra number 3. It's the most famous locomotive alongside something like the Flying Scotsman there ever was or will be. But any mods around? No, probably not. But I'm watching the chat, so we're okay. And I set it to subscriber only, so if there weren't any mods, then I could generally handle it. Anyway, it's come up 4:45, 5 o'clock now, so I'm going to call it there. Thanks everybody for coming and helping me check this out. So I'm going to end the stream. It's just down to me to say I really so much appreciate everybody popping in and helping me out. So yeah, a night to Monsville. Thanks for coming in, Colin, Tom, Johns, 2 Johns, John 7 and probably John 2. Thanks everybody for coming in. I really do appreciate it, and I'll catch up with you next Sunday or in the streams. Connie's coming on in a quarter of an hour. Okay then, Stuart. Yeah, it's just another little live stream so I can check things out. Thanks for coming in. Really much obliged. And everybody have a great week. I'll see you all in the streams. And if nobody's hit the thumbs up, if you'd like to do that, there's 15 so far with 22 in. That's a pretty good percentage. Thanks everybody for coming, and I'll catch up with you soon. Adios, amigos.